their identity.
That is exactly what I was going to say in terms of we came in at the start of the year thinking, okay, RNG, they've lost Xiaohu, but this guy Angel, maybe he can be the saving light for them. It didn't work out in spring. They've made some more changes in summer as well, with their bot lane being changed out. We no longer have any of the 2018 MSI winners on that roster, and they found some bits of form, but it hasn't been enough, especially compared to top esports, who have started to find their form.
We certainly have. We're already into the game, so we're just going to jump straight to our stage, straight onto Summoner's Rift. We're cutting away the trimmings here. It's all about the meat and veg today, although I think the veg actually counts as part of the trimmings, so I'm kind of flub that one, but top esports versus RNG. And I will say, like, in the context of RNG finding their identity, you know, struggling a bit this split, it has to be said that top esports, that's exactly the same story of last split. While this isn't a new roster necessarily, it's, you know, spring, they barely made it into playoffs, got knocked out in round number 2. Now, in summer, they're 6-1, second place in the standings right now. And you would hope that they can maintain that kind of form.
They are stacking as 5 towards this bot side. RNG trying to catch maybe someone from top esports out. Of course, have the level 1 stun from Tangyuan's Annie, a champion which he's gone towards a number of times in this mid lane. I have to say, Tangyuan, he was kind of touted as this player that RNG were trying to mold into, or at least it seemed like we're trying to mold into the next Xiaohu. They put him on all the champions that Xiaohu would play for them beforehand, but he's just been struggling. He's really struggled this split as well, particularly on this pick. We've seen a number of missed Annie Tibbers. Those ultimates going wide. So for him, every time he steps onto the Rift, we have to ask him to step up.
I think the best way to look at that conversation as well is RNG have already faced JDG, so Tangyuan's already gone up against Knight, and like in that series, he was on the Ahri both times with Knight on the Annie. And the difference wasn't necessarily in the 1v1. It wasn't like he was hard losing lane necessarily. It was about how well they could impact the rest of the map. I'm going to forget the mid lane for now because Mark take it down to 200 HP. A good little 2v2 from LP and LvMao to start the lane off.
That's the Zyra Khan level 1 W. Helps you go aggressively, especially against enchanters that can't stop the Rakan W. And again, they're starting to get towards that next cooldown. It's coming back up right now. See if they can go for it. Maybe on the level 2 level up. JackeyLove and Mark desperately trying to get themselves some of those minions a little bit lower so they can fight, because the Felios will finally have an ability.
Well, level 2 here. Can LvMao find an opportunity to go in? He's onto JackeyLove here, who's standing his ground and trying to fight back. It is a losing trade for Mark and JackeyLove, but all things considered, not falling too far behind. It's not like there's a significant all-in attempt there. Cleanse on cooldown for JackeyLove, it has to be mentioned, but you know, LvMao already used that Ignite, and that's really the interaction we'll be looking at. There'll be a small window for LvMao later in the lane.
Okay, so let's have a step back and have a chat about these compositions as a whole, because we dashed right into game, didn't get to talk about the draft as it was happening. We have the Kazakhs coming back out from Way. Way has been really the standout player from RNG, and the Kazakhs a real LPL pick of the moment. It helps you get towards vision control, particularly when you have a Sion, an Annie, and a Rakan who can engage out of Fog of War once the Kazakhs has built up that Umbra Glaive and helps them play around that Fog of War. And on the other side, it's not like the team fights are very difficult from top esports either. They have an Ornn in the top side. He's always going to find ways to engage. And Tian, of course, on the Wukong. He's been back in form too, one of the big reasons why top esports have found themselves back into prominence.
Oh, great little attempt in the mid lane. The red buff is there. And Tangyuan gets the kill. What a play out for Way and Tangyuan. And Rookie's taken out.
Okay, so Tangyuan gets some early jungle attention, and Rookie goes down. Blows the flash as well, importantly. Potential for a follow-up around the level 6 mark, or perhaps even a little beyond that, depending on when cooldowns are going to start becoming available. This is what you think you're safe here as Rookie. You're hanging towards the side of the jungle, side of the river which your jungler is on. You're right underneath your turret, and suddenly a bug jumps out of the bush, absolutely mullers you, goes down underneath his turret.
Was that the flame shield that finished the kill off there?
It was the final auto, flying across the screen, if I saw
it?
right. I think it was a final little anti-auto. Ever since the auto attack range got increased, you see that a little bit more.
Fantastic kill out from Tangyuan. I think the red buff might have finished it off for Way, had Tangyuan not managed to finish that one off anyway, but fantastic. And look, we came into this and we said Tangyuan's got to step up in the mid lane. Way has been the carry. And well, this is the kind of identity that we're starting to see from RNG, right? Where Tangyuan isn't trying to be Xiaohu. He's fulfilling a different role. He's very much this supportive mid laner so far. And Way is stepping up as the quote-unquote new Xiaohu. He's the big carry on the team. And I like that RNG are playing towards that right off of the bat. Bit of a 3v3 in the bottom side here.
We spotted in Tri-Brush. This is going to be a counter gank. Tian has sniffed this out.
Spotted on a control ward. Tian won't be able to find anything. So, good bit of presence of mind there from RNG, honestly. Spotting that one out and will diffuse any 3v3 action. Already a fairly fast-paced game as we head into this one. Great little start from RNG, though. Tian not able to find his way in on the bottom side. Rookie, no flash, needs to be careful in that mid lane.
That wave is going to push back towards him, though. Rookie's wave management working out in his favor at this point, so he's going to be able to hold that on his side of the lane. And about that pace as well, I seem to remember, I'm trying to remember if it was an RNG series versus OMG. We had one of those player interviews. We have a couple of those clips put out before the games go live. And one of the things which I think it was Aki was saying is that Wave really increases the pace of the game. You need to be very careful about the way that he can accelerate games. And we're seeing that once again. It is a faster paced game. Tian, no stranger to that, of course, as well. And he's pulling ahead with the CS lead and on a Wukong. That is a significant thing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I feel like Tian, in the most recent couple of series, has actually been looking pretty good, which a lot of people have been extremely critical of Tian, Wayward, Mark on this roster, especially after the performances in the summer split. So far in spring, this roster is looking a lot more stable. 4 hit on both bottom lanes. Here we go. Breathe just charges into the bottom lane. Flash going to be forced. He's underneath the tower, but happy to tank for a moment. And he will have to teleport back up to the top side as Rookie just receives a Tibbers. As Tangyuan finds priority. That Drake is online. Priority in both mid and bot if RNG want to go for it.
One of the great things about tank versus tank matchups in top lane, and there aren't that many good things from my opinion. I love interactive matchups in top lane. Tank versus tank are not necessarily that. But it allows you to make plays like this, where you can roam towards bot side and then teleport back up towards your top lane. Doesn't get the kill though, doesn't secure an early dragon. RNG, I'm not going to call it a swing and a miss, because at least you get some summoners, but they need to now return to that bot lane to find full value out of that play, and the investment of Breathe's time and teleport.
Yeah, that said, Breathe is actually still up in CS, so I don't feel like he lost out that dramatically. I think
but he could
Wayward
be more ahead in
got
CS,
a tower plate, though. I think Wayward maybe got a tower plate, so there's a minor advantage there for top esports. As we'll see how that continues to develop. I like how aggressive the bottom lane has been, though. LvMao and LP like really trying to leverage the fact that they have this Xayah Rakan. It does feel like RNG are the ones being proactive this game, and top esports answering.
And especially when they get to one-item spikes as well, you have to feel that's going to get a little bit more so. Of course, Xayah very strong on the one-item spike, and the Kha'Zix very, very strong at that point in the game. Becomes a duelist, becomes, as we keep talking about on this broadcast, such a vision control bot as well, as soon as that Umbral Glaive comes in. When we've seen Western Kha'Zixes, now that the LCS and LEC have started up, we see them sometimes going towards Duskblade or a Mythic first for more assassination potential. But when you're playing with the Sion, the Annie, and the Rakan, that extra vision control comes in so clutch.
Yeah, it really does. It gives you so much ability to kind of do shock engages, I guess. It is very much like shock at all play, right, where they don't have any vision, and you can pull the trigger so effectively, so quickly. Let's Breathe looking to deny some of that vision we were just talking about. Obviously, Umbral Glaive not online yet, but that's not going to stop him because of Scry's Bloom was. As Herald spawning onto the map, and it looks like Way might be headed in that direction. Some pings in the area, but Tian's there too.
Bit dangerous, because when it comes to Herald, you're normally talking about how strong are your champions with their first ultimates to the game without first item. You have the Ornn, you have the Wukong. They're very strong at that, but they have been seen on a ward.
Ooh, swing and a miss from Wayward. As he goes straight between the goalposts. Tangyuan doesn't know. Tian forced out of the play. It's a big knock up onto Wayward, who flashes out as well. And there we go. RNG finding themselves a moment. Tian, no way to contest the Herald. And all off the back of Wayward, kind of whiffing the ultimate.
They were stood on wards, which gave RNG a bit of advance notice. Rookie couldn't get into the play. And even with this, you know, RNG, they find themselves a great amount of damage on the return. Tangyuan having a good couple of first Tibbers of the game. They're going to get themselves that Herald. And another thing to take into account here as well is that first Dragon has been quite late. We haven't had it started yet. RNG were maybe looking towards an early Dragon if that first Breathe play had worked out when he roamed down towards bot side and ulted through the lane. That's not the case. Very interested to see now what happens with these first Dragons. We have seen a couple of Herald snowballs from the LPL, but of course soul stacking is always so important.
It certainly is. I'm surprised at how little Drake presence we've seen so far this game, but top esports, to be fair, they've been playing a very slow game of League of Legends so far this split. It hasn't felt like they're the chaotic version of top esports of old. Like, especially JackeyLove, I feel, I say this every split, and I feel like I've been wrong every split, but it feels like he's maturing as a player, where we don't necessarily see the same level of craziness.
No, he's an adult which just really just like feeds his inner child. He's realized that his inner child is important too, and he walks up and he goes, "Yes, I will flash into this fight."
Yeah, I feel like we still do get those JackeyLove moments, but it's not quite as egregious as it previously has been. It's kind of a similar story for Elk, honestly, where both of them very high damage carries, right? Very willing to play on that knife's edge, but more on the correct side of the knife edge these days than previous years. We'll see if we can keep that up, though. That's a whole conversation in of itself. Speaking of the Dragon, though, Tian in the area, looking towards maybe this bottom lane. I mean, you've got Infernum. You should be able to just start this.
Should be, unless Way wants to go on a bit of a solo mission into this Dragon. Depends how well RNG can pin top esports members into their lanes. I think with Tangyuan stood under his turret, that's not going to be the case. Way just going to be stood around again. He has that Umbral Glaive now. Very important moment. Clears out a ward. Watch that vision patrol. And the vision score start to pop up as the game goes along. Interested to see what he does with that Herald too. If you can use this to break open one area of the map, even if it's just unlocking Breathe, thinking about it on the Scion, we've seen him try and make those plays already. There's some value into putting it into his lane if you can get yourself an opening on one side of the map. Sometimes we see bot lanes reset and move to the other side of the map, have a bit of a lane swap, so you help the Herald explode part of the map too. But RNG not making a big power play just yet.
No, certainly not. And deciding against... I wasn't sure when Way was hovering on that blast cone if he was going to try and go for a cheeky steal and then jump back out, but won't go for anything for the time being. LvMao spotting out Tian here. Does have his jungler nearby, so they'll be able to get out safely, but Mark there to make sure Tian can clear those camps safely. And a very, very slow one to start this series off. Way on the Kha'Zix in a matchup that can be a bit tough for the Kha'Zix. The clone denying the isolation damage in the 1v1 can be a little bit difficult to find that presence. As the plate would be taken in the mid lane. JackeyLove could be in trouble though. Here we go. Quickness comes in, cleanse immediately, but the knock up the root is there. Featherstorm as well, but JackeyLove surviving, sustaining with the Severum and cuts them to pieces.
LP thought that he'd managed to win that trade by avoiding the knockup with his own ultimate, but it's just not enough damage. JackeyLove tears them to pieces, and even though the Herald's been put down in mid lane to give some advantage to Tangyuan, this bot lane is going to become a huge issue now. Teleport's now being traded. Breathe just trying to wave clear under the turret.
Rookie with a charm. They're just going to commit to this one. Breathe thought he could defend the turret, but they're just going to dive him instead. The Cyclone from Tian. And we said Way's the carry jungler, but Tian stepping up.
Tian, big moment for him and the team, killing the 2v2, denying a teleport. Wayward might have to pop his ult here to disengage. We'll see how much damage Way's got.
I think he heard me. Way's like, no, I'm the carry jungler, tries to make it happen. Wayward going to be able to get on out. He's already got some fire cape. Like, he's going to be okay against Lethal A.
So let's go into this replay, see what happens here. Really well done by RNG to time out the cleanse and then stack up some feathers, so it's not just for the root that you're pulling back the feathers for, it's for the damage too. But it just wasn't enough. As you said, the Severum comes through, big ultimate. The big Severum heal coming through from the Moonlight Vigil, sees them through to that kill.
So let's kind of recap where we're at right now. It's only a 600 gold lead, but a Drake as well for top esports with the Herald now being used in that mid lane. And it means that with Herald coming up in a minute and a half, that'll be the next objective. But I do feel like across the board, we're getting to the point where things coming online. Luden's finished off for Tangyuan, going for some serious damage in the mid lane.
Does mean that the front to back is going to be very difficult unless you hit the targets you want to, because you're not going to be killing or doing significant damage to the Ornn this way. So you need to really get on top of Rookie and JackeyLove, maybe Mark if he's out of position to pay attention to that one for Tangyuan. He's been given a lot of gold from the Herald. To kind of take some plates off of that mid lane. Has himself flash and ultimate, rank 2 of the Tibbers as well. And looks like there is a potential fight brewing in this mid lane, as there are some members just clearing out vision, and it's going to defuse before it even begins.
Yeah, nothing going to kick off on that one. Just fighting, as always, for that mid prio. Is Herald going to be coming up onto the map? LvMao forced out as well as TES trying to get some deep vision, but that ward in the river, that's going to be a thorn in their side. They've not spotted it just yet as Breathe, once again, proxy farming. This is the second time we see it this game.
More than happy to say, look, Wayward, buddy, I know you've got one of those big engaged tanks. I do too. I'm going to make sure you can't roam from your lane because I'm constantly proxying that side of the map. And with his ultimate as well, it's very hard to shut him down. He's just giving himself as much of an ability to roam first as possible. And as you can see, he is first into this mid lane. Tangyuan doesn't have himself that flash. However, Breathe is in position to respond to a play should it stop.
Tian has to use the Cyclone and disengage from the play as well. Way will be able to steal this red buff out. And could look towards the Herald now with Cyclone on cooldown. You've got to believe that's a green light for RNG.
I'm just laughing because on the other side of the map, Wayward is also proxying now. Both of these top players I just said, look, I don't really want to see your face. I'm going to go behind your turret. He has the Demolish as well. So at least there's going to be a cross-map advantage for top esports in regards to chunking out that bot side turret. Wondering if they could stay to kill that entirety of that turret and get the first one of the game. Not going to be the case though. So, 2 Heralds over to the side of RNG. Second Herald, I would imagine this is going to go straight in towards that mid lane. Taking away mid lane out of turret can sometimes be quite difficult against the likes of your Annies and Aries, which have enough wave clear from range to protect their turrets for a while. But they already put that first Herald there, and as you can see, top esports, they're over pushing in the mid lane to try and secure themselves mid lane.
Way really wants that ward. We'll get it just about before leaving as Tian on to Breathe once again here. I don't think he's got the damage to finish him off 1v1, and Breathe knows it as he steps on up to Tian. Come at me, bro, says Breathe. Here we go, Herald down in the mid lane, and that will be the first tower of the game taken. RNG doing a really good job around these objectives so far in the game, and we'll even get a second charge down as well. So, halfway down on the mid tower. Wayward TP to the mid lane as well as Drake has spawned. Rookie and Tian on a mission.
LvMao was just checking to see if anyone hopped over the back of that pit to see if they'd start a dragon, I think. Gets the heal from the queue as well. Breathe is here, ready to respond to a fight, but Rookie is behind enemy lines. He's on Fog of War. So while you do have a lot of vision control and push in this mid lane, Rookie does have an angle for now.
This could be huge for top esports if Rookie can make the play. We've been talking about the mid laners being the ones to make plays, and it's the mid laner that's found Tangyuan. Caught out of position by Rookie. The perfect flank, but now wanted by Way, but no, Spirit Rush gets him out. And in the meantime, LP went down. Now Breathe finds himself alone. Flash available for him, so should get out with his life. But actually, Willie's got knocked up. He's got charmed as well, and he's taken down. Breathe denied on this one.
He greets the flash, thinks he can get out. CC chained into death. Maybe thought he could last out long enough. That was a huge test for top esports. You just lost your mid lane out of turret. You were just losing vision into your enemy jungle. But it is Rookie who finds the magical angle on the Fox in the mid lane. Really good play around Fog of War. Make sure that Tangyuan on his big ult in that second rank of that Tibbers was not going to turn that play. And now suddenly top esports get themselves another dragon and get themselves a good foothold in this game where it looked like RNG were ready to start locking up a lot of this map. This is where it starts. This is a while into where top had kind of found themselves into the enemy jungle. Gets the vision control, gets out the empowered heal from the Ahri healing after getting that kill on the assist. Doing work.
Just Rookie things there, honestly. The fact that he can get out as well is a testament to Wayward. Wayward with a knock-up to start the play and then ulting Way so that Rookie didn't end up going down. Really, really nice play from the top esports solo lanes. Both of them stepping up in that moment. And now top esports find themselves with a bit of a gold lead. It's not that dramatic just yet. And Way, he saw what Rookie did, and he wants to replicate it on the other side of the map. Whether or not anyone face checks into him is a different question, but Tian moving over with Mark. They need to be cautious about that isolation damage.
Absolutely do. Second item coming in from Way's Kha'Zix. Way, we can't really sing his praises enough. Again, he's been the real general for RNG and the most consistent member of RNG too. Imagine saying that a year or two ago. It really felt like he was Feast or Famine for a little while, and then suddenly Xiaohu kind of molded him into someone that could play around mid-jungle primarily. He's been doing mid-jungle again, but he's been the one leading that now. He needs to find a little bit more leadership for his team, and now they're down into that disadvantage.
It's funny to think, isn't it? Because it's not that long ago that Way was the new guy on this team, and like you say, Xiaohu molding him. Now he's the one molding others. He's the one molding Tangyuan, LP. I mean, LvMao is a veteran, let's be honest. He doesn't need much molding. To be honest, I feel like you would struggle to mold LvMao.
Yeah, he is his own man, Munch.
Yeah, he's kind of set in his ways. But we'll see how this RNG roster continues to develop, because I feel like this is a roster that... Hang on. Tangyuan, oh, you're in trouble, mate. There's a TP coming in as well. If he wasn't in trouble before, he sure is now. Rookie grabs the kill. Wayward with the assist as well. That was a lot committed to the bottom lane to make that play.
I don't know whether that's entirely worth it either. You blow the ultimate from Tangyuan and you get a little bit of gold, but that's it. It's not like you're farming up something like, I don't know, Dark Harvest stacks or Dark Seal stacks even. You don't have any of them available. So all it is continuing to secure push towards this bot side of the map, and that's kind of it.
A kill's a kill. It's a bit of gold for top esports. Without any objectives on the map, although Baron now just currently spawning, but Tangyuan will be up in 4 seconds, has TP available. Shouldn't be the end of the world for them. Rookie's TP not as valuable as the top lane TP, generally speaking at least. But we'll see. I mean, I don't think RNG are really in a position to try and threaten anything on the Baron to try and force that teleport for the time being anyway. As
That's a lot of
so
gold.
JackeyLove's got a bit of gold.
Yeah,
2,000 gold ahead of LP right now. That is monstrous. He's getting close to his 3rd item.
A veritable Fort Knox, locking up all of that gold in his own inventory.
Whoa!
A rookie.
Did you see that hit? That
I think that was a crit. I thought that must have been a Kraken Slayer crit.
Yeah,
that was
I
so
think
much
it was,
damage.
yeah.
Especially, and the thing is that when you have that Calibrum too, if you get a lucky crit like that, you get 2 of them in a row, you can look to pile in your Q and your ult. Suddenly someone goes from 100 to 0 real quick. Rookie as well, adding on extra damage if he's there for the play. He was the 2nd most gold in the game. He's heading towards a bit more flat magic pan as well. He's not at the play though, he doesn't have that teleport, and Top is starting to engage.
JackeyLove feeling it. The Moonlight Vigil Gale Force trying to get the Q off as well with the Infernum, but Featherstorm going to be popped out. It will diffuse the play in the end. So Rookie trading tier 1s across the map with Tangyuan as actually tanks the tower a little bit there, and Breathe will be able to defend it. So minor advantage for RNG, but realistically I think top esports will be able to finish that top tier 1 tower off on the next wave anyway. Although,
So we're past 20 minutes now as well, which is of course very important to note. So next time we kind of see these plays happen, you can go towards these opportunistic plays as long as there's no real threat of you dying, because if you get 1 kill, there's a chance that it unlocks the Baron. Baron feels like, particularly with the junglers in meta and the AD carries in meta, goes down very, very quickly. Ever since the durability patch, champions got harder to kill. Baron didn't really, so you can tank it for a lot longer. And Baron, around 20 minutes, has been one of the calling cards of LPL in Summer 23. And now with the Hex Gates, top esports looking to maybe control one of these areas of Fog of War and RNG's jungle.
Oh, LvMao does get a ward down. Last time it was Rookie there, this time it's Tian, but RNG, they're wise to your tricks, top esports. Breathe, the one to step forward, has to be the one to face check. This would be 3 Drakes for top esports, and that's not something RNG want to let happen, but it might already be happening. I don't think they're going to have a chance to get into this pit. The Dragon's taken. They're too late on the play, and now a knock-up for Wayward as well. Wait, the target is Breathe trying to buy space for his jungler. Top esports grouped up, and that's exactly what Tangyuan wanted. Mark goes down. Can they find more as well? LvMao with the quickness for Breathe in the middle of everyone, and just abandoned by his team. RNG call off the engage and go 1 for 1.
Rookie's got 2 charges of the Spirit Rush left. Might be able to find an angle.
Hunting for it, but doesn't quite find his mark. But again, 4 kills now on JackeyLove. It's just more gold into the pocket of top esports carry, and 7-2 with 3 Drakes as well. Even though the gold is basically dead even, it's where that gold is and how everyone's performing. There's a stunt coming out. I was thinking maybe Way was with them. He wasn't. He's on the bottom side.
Okay, right. Let's reset from that, because Dragon's down. That's important. Soul point over to top esports, and it has been this kind of ebb and flow in this game. Periods of slow, controlling play into one of these bursty team fights. Rookie couldn't find his mark later into that fight, but Tangyuan found top esports mark pretty quick into that one. Gets the 2-person play, and if you take out the Enchanter, it stops your ability to run forward in the fight with the move speed and the extra shields, which meant that top esports couldn't run over the fight. However, Breathe was sadly caught out at the kind of in the middle of top esports, couldn't walk away with that own kind of successful play. So as it stands, RNG, they had those grid objective plays earlier into the game. Now it feels like they're starting to fail in their setups. Top esports choking them out of areas of the map.
Yeah, feels like Way is struggling to get involved in these fights as well, which, Karzik's not exactly known as a great team fighter. Does want to find those isolated targets. Rookie finishes that tower from earlier. Does he get out with his life? As 4 members of RNG in the Baron area here, but 5 from top esports. As Wayward comes in to contest. They will chase RNG away. Won't lead to anything as Breathe stays on the bottom side of the map. TP available for him. But now JackeyLove charging down the mid lane. And I feel like the pace is starting to pick up a little bit here, Nymeara. Both teams feeling strong enough to fight.
You can definitely see the positioning from the top laners, particularly indicating that Breathe, even though top esports were responding with huge numbers towards that top side, Breathe was in position to look for an engage if top esports overstayed in that mid lane. That wasn't the case though. Once again, one of these fights fizzles out. We're yet to see like a huge run over fight, especially if that happens at this point in the game. That's Baron with it. Tends to be one of the ending points of the game, that first Baron, and how that goes over. We're back to pushing the mid lane. That's often how you find those good fights in the first place. You push in mid, you get vision control, and you force the enemy team into an awkward part of the jungler. As it stands, JackeyLove very happy to push up with all of his items and just 1v3 under the mid lane turret.
Yep, and there's another Calibrum crit that we were talking about as LvMao loses a quarter of his health. Bit of poke coming out from Rookie as well. JackeyLove, he's always been a confident player, understanding that they don't really have a way to start a fight with him right there, so just get some free hits off on the side, but I don't think there's much of a way for him into this one. And LvMao now looking for an engage, but it's Wayward to charge on forwards. Top esports need to get on board, or Wayward will just go down. Wild Growth keeps him alive. LvMao forced out, Wave forced out as well. LP trading it, but it's all onto the clone. He used so much there onto just a fake Wukong.
Both of these teams really understand the fight is happening around this mid lane push, and it so often does in Summer Split of LPL right now. It is about finding one of these opportunistic picks in the mid lane. JackeyLove looking again, so powerful on the Aphelios, but not quite able to land the killer blow.
I mean, you'll take that, though. Gale Force for a Feather Storm. You'll take that trade every day of the week. Breathe, half HP as they go underneath the tower. Tower taken down. LP, the target here. Rookie on the top side of the fight. A great knock-up from LvMao, but there's no follow-up from the team. And now a charm onto Breathe. A knock-up as well. That's what follow-up looks like as top esports find themselves yet another pick.
Rookie breaks the deadlock once again. His angles on the Ahri are sublime. It doesn't manage to get the first ever Frost, but he gets the first charm, and that's the thing which matters. Pins Breathe back into the fight, and it is just one kill which matters. Now RNG, they don't have Feather Storm, they don't have Tibbers, but they're kind of forced to fight for this Baron.
Oh, that charm very close to LvMao. He knew something was coming, but the Baron's already gone down. Way's too late to the play. He's used his ultimate as well. We'll just have to retreat. Top esports off of a single pick find themselves the Baron. And this is decisive mid-game play for top esports, which the macro has not been their biggest strength across the course of this split so far. It does feel like it's improving.
And for anyone who's sat there going, oh, but, you know, everyone's just sat in mid lane, isn't this just really poor macro? Just look at what happens if you give one kill over. That is exactly why the last few minutes looked like they did. Because if you're out of position, one hair, there's an engagement comes in from someone like JackeyLove poking you under turret, or Rookie find an angle, and that can lead to the Baron. Now top esports, they're trying to find themselves something decisive with this buff. Tangyuan is going to be spotted in the enemy jungle, I think.
Look at Tian trying to find himself a flank, but in the meantime, the fight's already started. Wayward the target as Breathe gets out to safety. RNG on the wrong side of the plate. There is a big fat bottom wave. If top esports wanted to just try and race some objectives down, they could just trade this Drake, honestly. It doesn't matter if RNG gets one Drake. They could go for trying to find an inhib instead. JackeyLove just charging forwards and Tangyuan. He does not care about your mid lane. Turns golden and buys himself some space as Way knocked to the heavens. Top esports are rolling over RNG right now.
Almost does the Civ HD flash, not able to do so. JackeyLove fights on the razor's edge, but walks the right side of it. You called it out earlier. Feels like he's finding the difference between those kind of razor's edge plays more and more as his career starts to progress. 8-0-3 on the Aphelios, staying safe and doing huge amounts of damage.
Yeah, less of a razor's edge this game for JackeyLove, more of Thor's hammer. Mjolnir charging forward, 8-0-3, obliterating RNG. It was a slow and steady one, but the second they found their advantage, top esports just brutalized the team of RNG. And honestly, they made it look easy. Fantastic game one from top.
You mentioned Mjolnir, and it brings back to me great memories of the Master Chief in Halo wears a set of Mjolnir armor, and it feels like JackeyLove was taking up that Spartan ideology